Lumley Castle is situated at Chester Street in the north of England, near the city of Durham, in the land of the Prince Bishops. County Durham was once a virtually independent state ruled not by the king, but by powerful Prince Bishops, who were more or less the kings of County Durham. Their origins come back to the Anglo-Saxon times, when they played the role of the leaders of St. Cuthbert's community and so guarded and preserved the relics of that saint. There are two kings in England, namely the Lord King of England, wearing a crown in sign of his regality, and the Lord Bishop of Durham, wearing a mitre in place of a crown, in sign of his regality in the Diocese of Durham. This was a quote from the steward of Anthony Beck, Bishop of Durham, at the turn of the 14th century. So welcome to Chester Street and the Lumley Castle. Actually, Chester Street is overlooked from its eastern side by this beautiful castle, and it's not the only castle in the area. There is also Lambton Castle, and both families, the Lumley and the Lambton, played a very important role in the development of the city of Chester Street. Lumley Castle is quadrangular Norman castle coming from the 14th century, when Ralph Lumley changed it from his manor house into a beautiful castle while he was coming back from the wars with Scotland. This castle holds a lot of secrets, like a ghostly story about his first wife, Lily Lumley, who was apparently stabbed in one of the rooms by two monks who wanted to convert her back to a Catholic faith, and they not only stabbed her but dropped her body into the well, which is still in the courtyard of the castle, and she's coming out of this well during the night to visit our guests. Okay, when it comes to Chester Street, this valley setting of the city actually provided a very important through road from north to south, so from Edinburgh to London. And at that site there was a fort built by the Romans in the 2nd century AD. The Romans left the fort in around 4th century. The fort was called Concanges, and the name itself came from apparently different origins. So it was either the name of the Celtic king Canuck, or the Danish and Anglo-Saxon word for the king Conch. And possibly there was a tribe called horse riders, horse people, after whom this term was coined. Anyway, this is reminded in the name of the great stream here, Conch Burn. So this fort was built just in the middle of the Roman road in Chester Street, just east of the front road of Chester Street. And actually the name street itself is what you've got in Chester Street name, because the street is originally a term derived from the name the Anglo-Saxon used for the via strata or paved way. So the street comes from this Anglo-Saxon word. The same is with the fort. It was originally called Concastree, and then by the later Anglo-Saxons it was changed to Chester. So we've got Chester Street. So actually the Roman fort built in the middle of the Roman road, and this road more or less follows the front road of Chester Street. Chester Street is apparently and relatively small town now, yet it played a very important role in the development of County Durham. So here, for over 100 years, a community of St. Cuthbert's state settled down, and they built a great minster to house the relics of St. Cuthbert before they escaped from Lindisfarne Island to Norham. And in 80s of the 9th century, they started their flight for 7 years, and finally they were granted the land by the Viking king Guthred in Chester-le-Street, so the Roman fort, when they stayed for 100 years before they finally moved to Dunholm, which is nowadays Durham, modern Durham city with the great first Norman and then beautiful Gothic cathedral. The community had to flee from Lindisfarne because of one of the most shocking events here, so the attack of the Vikings on the island, the center of Christian, let's say, community in the Anglo-Saxon world. So this is Chester-le-Street, very small town, but with huge history and great castles.
Lumley Castle is a Grade 1 listed building and is currently a hotel. It is named after its original creator, Sir Ralph Lumley, who lived in the 14th century. However, after being implicated in a plot to overthrow Henry IV, he was imprisoned and ultimately executed, forfeiting his lands to the Earl of Somerset. In 1421, at the reign of Henry V, the ownership of the castle was turned back to Sir Ralph Lumley's grandson, Thomas. John Lumley, the first Baron Lumley, who lived at the turn of the 17th century, altered the windows of the castle to let more light in, installed a new fireplace in the Great Hall, along with a lavabo of black and white marble, adorned by a pelican, which is the crest of the Lumley coat of the arms. During his lifetime, James VI, and the first as King of England, journeyed from Edinburgh to London to take his new throne. In 1603, en route from Newcastle upon Tyne to Durham, the king stopped briefly at the castle as a guest of Lord Lumley. Yet, the king didn't stay at Lumley overnight, instead travelling later that day and staying at Durham Castle. The suite, which was previously the chapel, commemorates this connection with the king and is called today the King James Suite. For centuries, the halls and passageways of the castle have been said to be haunted. There is a ghost known as Black Jack, who is a mischievous spirit that likes to play pranks on guests. Such things as sliding glasses off the table, moving belongings have been reported. There have also been many reports of children being heard talking, screaming, and laughing originating from the top floor. There has also been the sightseeing of a strange man that has been sitting in the corner of the bar. The major ghost of Lumley originates from the centuries-old story of a woman named Lily Lumley, who was secretly married to Ralph Lumley before he met his wife Eleanor Neville. The story goes that two priests stabbed her in her sleep because she had come out of the Catholic faith. Afterwards, they threw her body down a well on the castle grounds as punishment for her refusal of the Roman Church. The priests then told Ralph that Lily had left to become a nun. Some say the ghost of Lily Lumley floats up from the well and still haunts the castle to this day. The castle was in the headlines for its hauntings in 2000 and 2005 when some of the Australian cricket team reported strange activity and refused to sleep on their own. Although there are no documents to prove it, the Georgian alterations to the castle in the 18th century are attributed to Sir John Banabra, particularly the library, which is now the Black Knight restaurant, where we booked our table for the evening. By the 19th century, the castle had become the residence of the Bishop of Durham. After Bishop van Mildert, The last Prince Bishop gave his residence of Durham Castle to the newly founded University of Durham. The castle thus became a hall of residence for University College Durham. Castlemen, as students of University College Durham are known, spent their first year at Lumley Castle and subsequent years in the castle at Durham. Lumley Castle was sold in the 60s of the 20th century by University College to found the residential halls in central Durham, in order to keep all students on the same site. The role of Lumley Castle in University College's history is still commemorated by students in the biannual Lumley Run. In 1976, management of the castle was handed over to No Ordinary Hotels, which had the castle turned into the 73-bedroomed hotel it is today, but it is still in the possession of the present Lord Scarbrough. As with all No Ordinary Hotels, hotel rooms in Lumley Castle are all unique and finished to the highest of standards, with the addition of the quirky features that make this hotel so popular. Choose from classic, superior and staterooms, either in the castle or in the inner or outer courtyards. For those seeking unadulterated luxury, book the opulent King James Suite or Bishop Suite. Some can also go for more adventure and book the room number 46, where Lily Lumley was murdered in her sleep. It is apparently the most haunted room in the entire castle. I think the outer courtyard is the safest place for a peaceful sleep, though the nearby woods are also said to be haunted. Although we had our rooms far away from where Lily usually walks, I really wished that night would quickly be over. Today, Lumley is a stunning castle hotel and also a picturesque backdrop for Durham County Cricket Club's ground. This magnificent castle has stood proud over the County Durham castle landscape for over 600 years. Situated along the River Wear and in the middle of beautiful parklands, the hotel is a location full of natural beauty. The castle overlooks the eastern side of Chester Street. A little further along the River Wear to the east, and beyond this view, are the grounds of Lambton Castle and Lambton Park. Lumley is a great English castle and a gorgeous hotel that steeped in history and in elegant, beautiful surroundings.